This is a video summarizing One Piece, the battle at Marineford headquarters. I put the anime's title and episode numbers down in the description for anyone who's interested. 3 hours left until execution time, and Ace is being escorted by the Marineford wardens to the execution platform. As he walks, he's reminiscing about his little brother, Luffy. Across the world, everyone's also focusing on this war. Some folks think Whitebeard won't dare come to Marineford headquarters, while others are absolutely positive he will. In some places, people are even praying for the future of this world. Meanwhile, at Marineford itself, a special evacuation order has been issued, leaving the streets completely deserted. At Sabaody Archipelago, where everyone's watching this event live on TV screens, reporters from all over the world have gathered to write about this historic execution. Every scout ship the Marines sent out to spy on the Whitebeard Pirates got sunk, leaving those guys completely clueless about him. In the Marine headquarters command room, Garp is looking pretty steamed at Sengoku about something. He asks him if it's really necessary to do this, and Sengoku says this public execution isn't just about dealing with one pirate. It also has immense significance for the future of this world, which makes Garp angry enough to storm out of the room. Meanwhile, outside Marine headquarters, the Marines are actively preparing for a battle that could break out in a few hours. All the elite Marines have gathered here. The estimated number could be over 100,000. Surrounding Marine headquarters Crescent Moon Bay are 50 battleships along with countless cannons, all ready for action. But that's still nothing compared to the forces at the center of the Marines, the 7 warlords of the sea, who are very likely to decide the success or failure of this war. Starting from right to left, we have Pirate Empress Boa Hancock, Hawk Eyes Mahawk, Heavenly Yaksha Don Quixote Doflamingo, Corpse Collector Gecko Moria, and finally, Tyrant Bartholomew Kuma. And it doesn't stop there. A special force has been formed to protect the execution tower where Ace's execution is happening. The ones responsible for this tough job are none other than the admirals, characters who can be considered the strongest in the Marine force. In order from left to right, we have Admiral Kizaru, Yellow Monkey, Admiral Akainu, Red Dog, and finally, Admiral Aokiji, Blue Pheasant. The entire force, supposedly representing justice, has gathered in full at Marineford, ready to clash with the Whitebeard Pirates. Ace, on his side, is still slowly being escorted to the execution site. He suddenly remembers what he told Luffy about how, when they grew up, they'd set sail and live a life freer than anyone. Meanwhile, the ship carrying Luffy and his crew finally reach the gates of justice at Marineford. Jinbei is worried because if no one opens the gates for them, the ship will drift with the current until it sinks, just like the Marines warned them. Buggy on the ship can't stop egging on the prisoners to do some silly shenanigans. He asks them who will conquer this world, and they all shout in unison, "That's Captain Buggy." They say Marine headquarters and Whitebeard won't be anything compared to you, Buggy, which makes Buggy laugh so hard he can't pick up his jaw. Luffy, meanwhile, is still worried thinking about his brother. Ace is finally led onto the execution platform, witnessed by the entire Marine force and the people of Sabaody Archipelago. Ace has no intention of resisting. It seems he's accepted his fate. Nearby, Sengoku tells Garp that he's going to reveal the truth about Ace, and Garp says, "Sengoku, do whatever you want." Sengoku unexpectedly steps onto the execution platform. He tells a soldier he wants a Den Den Mushi, and they immediately bring one to him. Sengoku announces loudly, "There's something I want everyone in the world to know," which surprises everyone. Sengoku suddenly asks Ace, "Who is your father?" which makes the reporters in Sabaody wonder what's so important about that. Anyway, Ace says, "I only have one father, and that's Whitebeard." But Sengoku denies it. He continues, "They've been searching for Ace for a long time but couldn't find him. Based on information provided by Cypher Pole, they can confirm that man still has another child. But even though the Marines thoroughly checked all suspected children, they couldn't find Ace." Sengoku continues, "That's because Ace's mother used a special method, going against nature, to keep him alive. In the South Blue, there's an island called Badarilla. That's where Ace was born." Sengoku proceeds, out of love for him. Ace's mother, Portgas de Rouge, used a special herb to keep him in her womb for 20 months. Because of that, immediately after Ace was born, she died from exhaustion, which moves Ace. Sengoku goes on 1 year and 3 months after the death of the most despicable pirate in history. A child bearing his bloodline was born. Garp recalls the day Ace's father begged him to take care of him. Sengoku loudly declares, in other words, Ace is the son of the Pirate King, Gold D. Roger, which leaves everyone who hears it completely stunned. At Sabaody Archipelago, the reporters also seem unable to believe their ears at what Sengoku just announced. They say in astonishment, "I can't believe the bloodline of the Pirate King Gold D. Roger still continues to this day." The people of Sabaody are excitedly discussing Ace and Roger. They say it's a good thing the world government caught him, otherwise, the consequences would truly be unimaginable. Meanwhile, at Marine headquarters, the surprise about the information Sengoku provided hasn't faded. Hancock whispers, "So Ace isn't Luffy's biological brother?" Garp remembers that fateful time, the day he met Roger in prison. Roger unexpectedly told Garp, "Can you believe it? He's about to become a father," which utterly surprised him. Garp asks Roger, "Why are you telling me this?" He asserts anyone related to Roger will be sentenced to death, including his wife and child. Roger says he knows that, which is why Roger told Garp this, making him confused. Roger continues, "What crime has a baby committed anyway? He and Garp tried to kill each other countless times," which is why Roger knows he's someone he can trust to entrust the lives of his wife and child, which makes Garp angry. He tells Roger, "Don't make such a selfish request," but Roger seems very confident in his choice. At Batarilla Island, Portgas D. Rouge was stunned when she read that Gold D. Roger had surrendered himself to the Marines. Soldiers were dispatched to the island to investigate a woman rumored to have had a romantic relationship with Gold D. Roger. According to the locals, before his capture, they saw him living simply on the island with a woman. The commanding officer emphasized the era of the pirate king Gold D. Roger has ended. By all means, we must also eliminate his last drop of blood. He ordered his subordinate to thoroughly check newborns and pregnant women from Roger's capture until the next 10 months. The subordinate immediately complied. After that, a massive sweep took place. All pregnant women were taken by the Marines for examination, while anyone they suspected was killed without mercy. The reason they acted so cruelly was to ensure that Roger's bloodline would be completely eradicated. But no matter how careful the Marines were, there was one thing they would never understand. Rouge had used a special herb that kept her belly from growing, thus avoiding everyone's suspicion. But that was only a temporary solution, because the Marines decided to stay on the island for 10 months to make sure they didn't miss Roger's child. Each month, they tallied the number of people who had given birth that month, making Rouge grit her teeth and endure in pain and solitude. She told her child, "I'm so sorry I couldn't let you be born yet." Finally, the 10 months were over. The soldiers told their commander there are no more pregnant women on this island. He said so. The era of Gold D. Roger is truly over. Then, Garp, following Roger's instructions, finally arrived at Batarilla Island. He appeared at the hospital where Rouge was about to give birth. Surprising everyone, Garp asked Rouge, "Are you Portgas D. Rouge?" And she confirmed. Afterward, Garp explained why he was there, which put Rouge at ease and allowed her to give birth to the child she loved so much. It was a chubby little boy. Rouge, moved, said this baby's name will be Gold D. Ace, the name Roger himself chose for him. Rouge continued happily. Finally, her and his child has been born, but it was a shame Rouge couldn't stay with him longer because she passed away from exhaustion immediately afterward. Then Garp took Ace to a mountain region called Kalubo in the East Blue to be raised by a mountain bandit named Dayton. Luffy himself was also entrusted to her care there, but that little rascal showed his disagreement and got his head thumped by Garp. He remembered visiting Ace in prison, where Ace confided that both he and Luffy were unlucky to carry the blood of the world's most notorious criminals. Ace always felt he owed his mother so much, which is why Ace decided to take her surname. As for Roger, he didn't want any connection with that man. Sengoku continues 2 years ago. After a period of living in seclusion, Ace finally set sail. He began building his reputation by becoming the captain of the Spade Pirates. At that time, the world government suddenly realized that the bloodline of the pirate king Gold D. Roger still continued. But they couldn't do anything since Ace was protected by Whitebeard. Whitebeard, despite knowing he was the son of his lifelong rival, still wanted to make Ace the next pirate king. Ace suddenly shouts that's not true. He joined the Whitebeard Pirates because he wanted to make his father the pirate king. But Sengoku doesn't believe those words. Sengoku continues, they know that with Ace's abilities, he would become the next pirate king sooner or later. That's why this public execution is so important, despite the very high chance that it will spark an all-out war between the Marines and the Whitebeard Pirates. While Sengoku was still talking, a Marine soldier suddenly ran up to report to him, we don't know why, but the gates of justice at Marine headquarters just opened by themselves. This utterly shocked Sengoku. Meanwhile, outside, Luffy's group was wondering how they could get inside. That rubber-brained guy was even planning to break that giant gate with his fist. Seriously, this dude thinks simply. Man, as everyone was in a panic, not knowing what to do, the gate suddenly opened on its own, making them all unable to believe their eyes. Like a blind cat finding a dead mouse, they all immediately rushed inside, not missing this opportunity. The clown Buggy suddenly acted as if he was the one who opened the gates of justice, making the common folks below worship Buggy even more. Inside Marine headquarters, Doflamingo and Hancock immediately noticed something strange when everything around them suddenly became strangely silent. Just as they suspected, a fleet of pirate ships suddenly appeared before their eyes, surprising everyone. All of them were Whitebeard's allies. Sengoku wondered, how did they get in here so fast? These pirates included Squar of the Spinning Spider Pirates, the Decalvin brothers, Lightning Lord Magai, Doma the Knight, and so on. The observing Marine soldier said those are all infamous captains from the New World. There are 43 ships heading this way, but he doesn't see Whitebeard or any of the commanders anywhere. Everyone was determined to save Ace, which made the regular Marine soldiers a bit nervous. Ace couldn't believe they actually came for him, as the Marines were acting extremely cautious because they hadn't seen Whitebeard's ship yet. Air bubbles suddenly rose from the water, surprising everyone. Sengoku murmured, no way. Garp also asserted that Whitebeard would appear where they least expected him. Just as both predicted, the Moby Dick slowly rose from the bottom of the sea, creating gigantic waves. Sengoku said so they coded their ship beforehand. The giant ship appeared proudly in the middle of Crescent Moon Bay, surprising everyone. Not stopping there, the other two Whitebeard pirate ships also appeared one after another, astonishing everyone even more. All 14 commanders under Whitebeard were present. Whitebeard slowly walked onto the deck, letting out his familiar, gura gura, laugh. Whitebeard said, long time no see. Sengoku, which flustered him. Whitebeard dangerously said, whoever captured my son, hand him over now, making everyone sweat. Sengoku couldn't believe he let Whitebeard get so close. Luffy's group on this side also successfully passed through the gates of justice. Ivankov wondered, will Luffy's father, Dragon, come? Which made Luffy confused. Luffy explained, actually, Ace and I aren't blood brothers, which surprised everyone. Luffy continued, my father is Dragon, while Ace's father is Gold D. Roger, which shocked everyone even more. Whitebeard told Ace wait for me a bit, which moved him. Then he prepared himself and threw 2 punches into the air, making it seem to crack. Immediately, a terrifying tremor was created, causing immense panic among the marine forces. Sengoku explained that's Whitebeard's power, the power to create massive earthquakes. Ace remembered the day he said goodbye to Luffy to set sail. Luffy told Ace take care. In 3 years, I'll definitely be stronger than you, which made Ace laugh heartily. After that, he started building his reputation by defeating numerous strong opponents and forming the Spade Pirates. Garp was so angry he nearly had a stroke when he learned Ace had become an infamous pirate. While Sengoku was wary knowing he had the initial D in his name. Whitebeard, on his side, was also reading the news about Ace. He said he's truly a reckless kid. To which 4th Division Commander Thatch said it seems Ace just turned down an invitation to join the 7 warlords of the sea from the world government. Meanwhile, on a snowy mountain, despite his crew's earnest advice, Ace still wanted to meet the Yonko red-haired Shanks. They told him the red-haired pirates are not something to mess with. Shanks was in a cave with his crew members when Ace unexpectedly walked in. Shanks said he didn't expect a famous rookie to come here to check up on him. But Ace denied it. He said I only came here to thank Shanks for saving my younger brother. Luffy, which utterly surprised him. Shanks immediately changed his demeanor. He immediately threw a party to welcome Ace and his crew. Shanks asked Ace, does that kid Luffy still want to become the Pirate King these days? To which Ace said, when does he not say that? But Ace asserted, I'm the one who'll become the next Pirate King, which surprised Shanks. Ace continued to realize that ambition. The first thing I'll do is defeat the strongest man in the world. Shanks asked, does Ace mean Whitebeard? And he immediately confirmed. Jinbei said, even though I'm not a member of the Whitebeard Pirates, since the Fishman race is indebted to him, Jinbei won't let a reckless rookie like Ace meet Whitebeard. Ace's crew members realized Jinbei was one of the 7 warlords of the sea and warned him. But Ace said, if I can defeat Jinbei, my reputation will only increase, and then attacked him. They fought continuously for 5 days and 5 nights without stopping. Finally, they both reached their limits and collapsed. Whitebeard suddenly appeared in the misty haze. He said, who said they'd take my head? Then easily defeated Ace's crewmates using Conqueror's Haki, which utterly astonished Ace. Ace suddenly created a wall of fire to separate himself from everyone. He yelled, everyone run, leave this old man to me. Whitebeard sneered, this brat, you're pretty bold, aren't you? Ace charged at him, but ended up getting clobbered by Whitebeard. He struggled to get up, which surprised Whitebeard. Ace said, so this is the power of the strongest man in the world? Whitebeard suddenly said, it's still too early for Ace to die here, which surprised him. Whitebeard continued, if Ace wants to rampage on the seas, then rampage under my name, which surprised Ace. Whitebeard told Ace, become my son, but he immediately refused. After that, Ace woke up with a start on a ship. He wondered, where am I and who am I? Then suddenly realized this was Whitebeard's Moby Dick. As Ace sat down dejectedly, Thatch proactively came to talk to him. He introduced himself, my name is Thatch, 4th Division Commander of the Whitebeard Pirates. If Ace joins, we can become friends, but he flat out refused. Thatch recounted after Ace passed out. His crewmates came to save him but they got beaten to a pulp. However, they're all still alive and on this ship. Ace was furious and determined to assassinate Whitebeard, but even while sleeping, he woke up just in time to punch Ace through a wall, which utterly surprised him. Another time, Ace tried to assassinate Whitebeard again but still got knocked into the sea, forcing someone to jump in and rescue him because Ace ate a devil fruit and couldn't swim for squat. Day after day, rain or shine, Ace tried to kill Whitebeard, but all his attempts failed. The total number of failed assassination attempts by Ace on Whitebeard exceeded 100. As he was sulking in a corner, Marco brought him some food. Ace suddenly asked him why do they accept Whitebeard as their father. Marco replied because he considers them his sons, which surprised Ace. He confided everyone in this world hates them, so just one word, son, is enough to make them all feel really happy, which made Ace thoughtful. Finally, Ace decided to join the Whitebeard Pirates. In a short period, he continuously achieved many glorious victories, to the point where everyone nominated Ace to become the 2nd Division commander of the crew, which utterly surprised him. Afterward, Ace went to meet Blackbeard, who at this time was still an unknown crew member named Teach, to ask for advice. He cheerfully told Ace, go ahead and take that position. As for me, Teach, I claim to have no ambition whatsoever. That night, Ace was deep in thought. Then he told Whitebeard the story of how he was the son of the pirate king Gold D. Roger, which utterly surprised him. Whitebeard said, but Ace's personality isn't anything like that man's at all. Ace said, my father was Whitebeard's enemy. So do you want to kick me out? Which made Whitebeard laugh loudly. He said it doesn't matter who their parents are. They are all children of the sea, which surprised Ace. And so, Ace officially became the 2nd Division commander of the Whitebeard Pirates. The whole ship threw a party to welcome the new commander, but the guy fell asleep, drooling after eating, making everyone laugh out loud. The whole world was shaken when they heard that the Whitebeard Pirates had just recruited another formidable rookie. Ace and Thatch were a dynamic duo, often fighting side by side. During the search of an enemy ship, he stumbled upon a devil fruit, but for a moment, he didn't know what kind of devil fruit it was. Teach seemed to know very well what Thatch was holding, so he flashed an evil grin. That very night, he cruelly laid hands on Thatch, then took that devil fruit and fled Whitebeard's ship. When Ace heard the news, he was furious and determined to find Teach to settle the blood debt. But everyone stopped Ace. They told him you shouldn't go because old man Whitebeard said this was an exceptional case. He himself confirmed it. Whitebeard said, I have a bad feeling about this. But Ace still didn't agree. He said the fact that Teach deliberately hid himself on the Moby Dick for so long, waiting for the chance to disgrace the old man, is something Ace will never be able to forgive. Then angrily went to find Teach despite the crew members trying to stop him. Ace felt regret remembering those events. He said, I myself ignored their advice and chose this path. Why didn't everyone just abandon me? But Whitebeard unexpectedly said I was the one who told Ace to do it, which utterly surprised him. This part ends here. If you found it cool, don't forget to like, subscribe to the Anime Recaps 95 channel, and let me know in the comments. See you all in the next videos.